Morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about vitamin C and the derivatives. I've got 3 derivatives here from The Ordinary Skincare and of course the vitamin C from The Ordinary Skincare. There are other derivatives of vitamin C and other formulas, but I'm really only talking about The Ordinary Skincare ones because this video could go on and on. So let's talk about vitamin C. The purest form of vitamin C is L-ascorbic acid, or it's known as LAA or AA, ascorbic acid. And yeah, that's the purest form, that's the gold standard to use in skincare, but it's very unstable. What that means is that it's really hard to get the perfect formula. It means that when you create it, it has to be at the right pH, it has to be in the right packaging, in the right formula of ingredients, and it's very, very difficult to get a stable formula. However, The Ordinary have managed that with this, the vitamin C suspension 23%. This is made without water. But the other problem with vitamin C, which happens to be the case with this for me, is that it can be very irritating. So I think the problem is that there's companies like The Ordinary that you can trust. This is a vitamin C, is 23%, it's been formulated in the correct way, etc. But a lot of us are finding it, we're getting very irritated from using this. You can expect some tingling from using this. So if you put it on your skin and you've got a slight tingling, that's not a problem. Or even if you've got slight redness, it does tell you might get that in the beginning because of the granular formulation of it. This is a waterless formula, I can't remember what I said. But that should reduce as you use it. For me, when I was using it, it just felt like it was getting worse and worse. It was actually stinging rather than tingling, so that's not a good thing. I did try mixing it with hyaluronic acid and that didn't work either. So this is a no-go for me, unfortunately. There are a huge amount of vitamin C forums out there, not many that give the percentages on. You want to have a good percentage of vitamin C, probably between 15 and 23. But it's so difficult to get that process right that it's hard also to know which products you can trust. That it's gone through the correct process, that it's stable, that it won't go off quickly. So there are vitamin C derivatives, which basically means that they are not ascorbic acid, but that they convert to ascorbic acid in the skin. That's the theory anyway. There's a serious lack of evidence with vitamin C derivatives, and with some of them there is a lack of evidence as to whether or not it does convert or convert well or absorb. There's a lot of this talk out there and there's not really any substantial research conclusions. What we do know and what are the benefits are that they are less irritating. The derivatives in general are less irritating than ascorbic acid, and they are more stable, so that also means that you're a bit more freer to use them as you please. You don't need to worry about the pHs of them and mixing them with different things and waiting a certain amount of time for them to work, that kind of thing. So I'm going to talk about each of these individually, and I do touch on the research, but I'm also talking about it from the point of view of what does it feel like using it, what the prices are, etc. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Ascorbyl Glucoside 12%. The first thing to note is this says 12%, but it's not 12% vitamin C. It's 12% Ascorbyl Glucoside. From what I can find, there isn't really a way to compare the two. You can't say how much ascorbic acid it will convert into, comparing it with ascorbic acid with a vitamin C suspension 23%, for example. So that is Ascorbyl Glucoside 12%. It just means it's 12% of that ingredient. This is £8.90 and it is a serum. It's a clear serum like this. So you can see from it dropping there probably it's not complete liquid, it's quite serum-like. And it feels lovely actually. This feels very, very nice on the skin. It feels very much like the niacinamide. If these were in a clear bottle, I would think, you know, if I was using them in a blind test, I would think this was the niacinamide. No scent at all. I just thought I'd double check. And my hand feels super soft after using that. It's also a little bit tacky. I wasn't sure if it would feel that way on my hand, but it does. But I know when I put this on my skin, it does absorb and instantly your skin feels very soft. If you lightly touched it, it would feel very soft. But if you pressed against it like that, it's got a tacky feeling. And what I've found is that the Ascorbyl Glucoside does pill, it does ball up with some other things, and one of them actually is one of the other vitamin C derivatives. I'm just trying to see, is it in this book where I wrote down? No, I've been writing down all combinations to try and find out exactly what it is that causes that balling up. I know that the niacinamide causes it, but not with every single product. It seems to be some products like this ball up when mixed with certain other products, but just be aware of that, I guess, if you're going to use it and you find that your skincare or your foundation or anything, any step is balling up. It may be this, it may be the niacinamide. This one is listed on the Ordinary website as being a high potency derivative. They're listed as medium and high. I don't think there is a low. No, there isn't a low. There's moderate and high, and this one is considered a high potency derivative. This one has some dimethyl isosorbide in it, which is the skin conditioning agent that is in the advanced 2% retinoid. It's also in the azelaic acid, and it's a lovely feeling. I think that I'd be happy for that dimethyl isosorbide to be in any product, because it really does feel beautiful on the skin. It makes the product feel very, very soft and silky. So the pros of this one is its high potency, and also this is thought to be a sustained release vitamin C derivative, which again is thought to be better than just putting one whole lot of vitamin C on your skin or ascorbic acid in one go. It's thought a little bit at a time is better, and this is thought to be sustained release. The cons of this are maybe that tacky finish, and the balling up might be something that interferes with your skincare routine, depending on where when and where you use this and how and with what other products, but that might not be a huge deal to you. And the other downside, or possible downside, is it does have glucose in it, and there does seem to be a lot of research interested in whether that is detrimental or not. Conclusions reached just that there is some interest in whether or not the glucose, and some researchers are thinking that glucose might be detrimental in this product. It has a pH, this one, of 6.4. That's an indicative pH using my litmus paper, but that means that it should be okay to use with most of your other products. I wouldn't use it with your acids, but more for the point of view, if you'd want your acids to work, then this not working, if that makes sense. I am hoping to do a video all about pH and how to properly use your skincare according to the pH, but it's a video that would be very complex to make and very complex to explain. I'm trying to get my head around it all now. I'm actually rereading my own biochemistry book from when I did that, and trying to refresh my memory. And also it's quite a long process. If you really wanted to respect the pH of everything, there'd be a lot of wait 20 minutes, wait half an hour, that kind of thing. Research in ascorbyl glucoside is minimal, as I will say with all of the derivatives, so there's no one better than that really, but the only research I can find is in vitro research, so in the lab, and it only shows a mild UV protection for this one, for the ascorbyl glucoside. This one was £8.90, so the ascorbyl glucoside is £8.90. The next one I'm talking about is the Magnesium Ascorbyl Phosphate 10%. Again, this is not 10% vitamin C, it's 10% MAP. So I'll talk about it as MAP from now on, Magnesium Ascorbyl Phosphate MAP. This is £7.80. for this tube, so 30ml. What do you get in these bottles? Is that a 30ml bottle? Yeah, 30ml, but 30ml in a bottle of liquid is not equal to 30ml of a cream or serum necessarily, because for example the azelaic acid, you need to use quite a lot, whereas with the ascorbyl glucoside you only use a tiny bit and it spreads all over. So I think this bottle will last quite a while, whereas a tube of something with a thicker serum won't last as long. So this is what it looks like. It looks like just a creamy, sort of a creamy serumy lotion. Well, it's more like a lotion, but you can see it does immediately go translucent. It feels very lovely. Feels lovely and soft. This one is listed as being moderately potent, so compared to the ascorbyl glucoside, which is high potency. At the end though, I am going to summarise what would be best if you want the most potent, the least irritating, the cheapest, etc, etc. But yeah, this one is moderate. This one is interesting because there's a lot of pros for this one. It feels lovely. It goes not matte, but not greasy or tacky or sticky. It just makes your skin feel lovely and soft. So I think it's a nice one to use in the morning under makeup, no problem with that at all. The ingredients in this are really interesting. It's got some vitamin E type ingredients, so some antioxidants, and it's got some added oils in it. It's got Sacha Inci oil, which is an antioxidant. It sounds like a really good ingredient. And it's also got Kakadu plum, which is it's got lots and lots of vitamin C in it itself. And they're both added in here, so I think those things contribute to this feeling lovely on the skin. So the pros of this one are it's the cheapest out of all of them at £7.80, feels lovely on the skin and has got those added antioxidants and oils to kind of nourish your skin. So I feel like that's a really good little package, you know. The cons are that it is a lower potency than any of the other derivatives that we're talking about today. It's the lowest. And also this is not going to last very long, I don't think. So although it is inexpensive at £7.80, I said the same with the azelaic acid. I don't think this would last me much more than a month, whereas I think that this one would last 2 to 3 months. Research in MAP I found was again mostly in vitro, and it showed some moderate effects on, I think it was lightening and hydration, yeah, so not necessarily UV protection, but some sort of pigmentation issues and hydration levels did show some improvement, but they're very small, not insignificant studies, but not the big studies we would like to see. So that's the second. Third and final one is very interesting. You can see I've written on here vitamin F. I've labelled all of these because I'm trying so many of them for you guys that my eyesight is too terrible to be able to read that, especially at night when we have a lamp on in the living room instead of the main light. I'm calling this vitamin F. It's not vitamin F. This is Ascorbyl Tetraisopalmitate in vitamin F. Tetraisopalmitate 20%, but again, it's not 20% vitamin C, it's 20% of the Ascorbyl Tetraisopalmitate. This one is £14.90, so pretty expensive, but this one is quite a different one. This one is an oil. Vitamin F actually means essential fatty acids, and so this is in vitamin F. And so you can see it is very, very watery, as in thin. It will run down my hand if I move it, but it is also an oil, although it feels a bit like a dry oil. It is an oil. It's essential fatty acids that you've got. This derivative has probably the least research against it because it is the newest derivative to be found. They think that it's the fastest absorbing, which is yet to be seen whether that's a good thing or not, but it is a very interesting new ingredient. But like I said, very minimal research, but there is on all of the derivatives. This actual formula from The Ordinary is really interesting. The ingredients are really interesting in this because you haven't just got the Ascorbyl Tetraisopalmitate, you've got the vitamin F, which is the essential fatty acids. You've also got in this squalane. You can buy squalane from The Ordinary, and I'll be talking about that in my oils video, but it's a very good oil, and I can actually kind of feel that in there. It also has in it coconut alkanes, which may or may not be a good thing, and I'll talk about that in the pros and cons in a moment. What else has it got in it? Oh, jojoba. I call it jojoba, it's jojoba really, but that's another thing that's actually really good for your skin, and it's good for oily skin. I'm referring to my list here because there's quite a few pros and cons to talk about. The pros are with this one that it is high potency. It's listed on the website as one of the high potency ones, and that's the information I found as well. It's got some great ingredients in it, it's got some good oils in it, so you're getting more than just your vitamin C derivative from this. And this one is talked about as perhaps being one of the most stable derivatives, but they're all pretty stable anyway, so it's definitely more stable than a vitamin C ascorbic acid formula. The cons to this one are also a bit extensive. So it's expensive, it's £14.90 for this bottle, which is 30 ml. However, it's a very thin formula and therefore shouldn't run out quickly. You know, you only need to use a little bit of this. However, I don't like using this. I really like the feeling of it on my skin. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that it's in an oil, but when you put it on, you're supposed to put a couple of drops in your hand, rub your hands together and put it on your face. I don't feel like it transfers like that. I feel like most of it stays on my hand, and I in general prefer to put things straight onto my face. But if, for example, you put a couple of drops on your forehead, it just runs down, so you need to make sure it's going to run down your nose, and then you catch it and rub it in before it gets anywhere. Put it on your cheek and it runs down. You know, it's not the easiest thing to apply, and I did try putting it in my hands, but like I said, I felt like even pressing it in, I felt like most of the product was on my hands. What else have I said is a con? Expensive, difficult for morning use. Obviously you're not going to want to use an oil, well, not obviously, because there are some oil type primers, aren't there? Maybe if you've got really dry skin, you might like this because you could use it before makeup. There's no reason, you know, the pH is absolutely fine and all that. You could just put this on before your SPF and it should work fine. But for most of us, we won't want to use an oil before our makeup. Not for sensitive skin. This is one where there has been some research that has shown that some people do have a reaction to the tetraisopalmitate, so be aware of that. If you've got sensitive skin, maybe avoid this one. Possibly could cause acne. Oh yeah, that was the coconut alkanes. Coconut is one of those ingredients that some people think that it's great for acne, some people think it's acne causing. There's just, again, no conclusion, but I think it's something to be aware of if you've got acne prone skin. I haven't had any breakouts from this, and I am quite sensitive to oils. I've tried 3, 4, including this, of the ordinary oils, which is all of them, I think, isn't it? And there are oils that have broken me out, but this one didn't break me out at all. Any other con? Oh, the other con, I've said about the thinness being a con because it doesn't make it a pleasure to use, but also the fact that this one did ball up with quite a few other products. Do you remember I said how the Ascorbyl Glucoside did? So out of these 3, the only one that didn't was the MAP. But the vitamin F doesn't do it with every single product. I don't yet have a definitive answer for you on what you could mix it with and couldn't, to avoid that balling up, because I'm literally every night trying it different ways and writing down everything I've used, and there's no real formula other than this balls up sometimes. The Ascorbyl Glucoside does, as does my niacinamide. So yeah, it's just, again, something to be aware of. The MAP certainly doesn't. So that's all of the vitamin C derivatives. To summarise for you, if you want one that definitely doesn't ball up, go for the MAP one. If you want to use one in the morning, I would say use the MAP, would be sure to not ball up. You could try the Ascorbyl Glucoside depending on what else you were putting on. If you're just using this and your SPF, I think you'd probably be fine. The highest potency is the vitamin F and the Ascorbyl, if that the Ascorbyl Glucoside, if that's your kind of primary concern. Sensitive skin, I would recommend using the MAP. This one has been shown to be the best for sensitive skin. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for me. What I'm going to do whilst I have these is I'm going to use the MAP in the morning, possibly. I've got so many products I'm using at the moment, and actually talking about that, remember I said in my how to create a skincare routine video, did you want me to write down my routine? But by the time the video went up and I read all the comments, etc., there was 2 people that asked for that. I went to try and write it down, and I thought, you know what, I don't know what my routine was at that time, and at the moment it's different again because I'm trying to put things on in different orders, dependent, to try and find about this balling up, to try and find out which ones go together well, to try and see which ones feel the nicest on the skin. I'm trying so many things that I don't really have a routine at the moment. But ideally for me, I would not use the Ascorbyl Glucoside. I would use the vitamin F in the evening and the MAP in the morning, because obviously with this being an oil, that would take care of the oil as well. And then this one is nice to use in the morning under makeup. And I think that if you're going at it with 2 ingredients, you're more likely to get that conversion to ascorbic acid. So that would be my plan, to use these. I will of course use up the Ascorbyl Glucoside, and then when these have run out, I will probably go back to using my Skin Deva vitamin C and ferulic acid. I think that's got vitamin E in it as well, which I like because that's an antioxidant that keeps that more stable. The vitamin C 23% is just not for me at all. Hey you guys, it's Karen and I'm back on a different day. I woke up this morning to some comments to a question about vitamin C that made me think, you know what, I should have included it in that video. So I thought I'd come and slot it in here. And it was asking if ferulic acid was a vitamin C, if you can get vitamin C from essential oils, from citrus oils. And so I wanted to come and answer that quickly. I should really have touched on the whole ferulic acid thing. So basically vitamin C, ascorbic acid, works best if you combine it with antioxidants such as vitamin E, such as ferulic acid. So ferulic acid is not a vitamin C, it is an antioxidant that works very, very well in a product with vitamin C, and it stops it going off so quickly. So do you remember how I said that ascorbic acid is very unstable and it can go off quickly? But if you combine it with antioxidants, vitamin E, ferulic acid, it will help it remain more stable. So that's the point of ferulic acid. The other thing is, can you get them from, say, orange essential oil? No, you can't. You can't put orange essential oil on your skin. It won't give you the vitamin C, and it's quite a complex reason why, but it just doesn't work that way, and that wouldn't be very good for your skin anyway. That would be quite irritating. I did have on my list a video about essential oils, but I think the ordinary skincare has kind of taken over instead of that, but it is still sitting there on my list to do at some point. However, I've noticed that I'm seeing more and more blogs talking about how essential oils are irritating to the skin, which is something that I've said and not a lot of people have been happy with me saying over the years. And it's not every single essential oil, but it's a lot of the ones that you wouldn't expect. Anyway, that's a separate video, but I just wanted to say no, you can't use, I wouldn't use essential oils to try and get any vitamin C in your skin. The final thing I didn't talk about was making your own vitamin C, and it's something that I would highly discourage because there are all sorts of things that can cause it to irritate. For example, if you don't get it at exactly the right pH, you don't want it too low to cause irritation on your skin, but you need it to be exactly the right level to penetrate. You need to use the right carrier so that it doesn't crystallize. There's so many different aspects. A good blog that I will link for you that explains in detail the reasons why it's probably best not to make your own vitamin C. But by all means, have a go. You know, it's something I would love to do actually, but I think just understand that the resulting product will probably not meet the needs of a vitamin C serum. If you think that all of these commercial companies with millions of pounds and labs all over the place can't get it right, then how can we at home possibly get a really good formula, if that makes sense? And it's not as simple as just dissolving a sachet of vitamin C in water or anything like that, you know, or in cream. So yeah, give it a go. Let me know if you do mix your own and what you think and what kind of issues you've had. Like I said, it's something I'd quite like to dabble in, but I don't do it because it's just probably a lot of money to invest in the ingredients, and I know that the resulting formula wouldn't work for me. So I think that's everything I forgot to tell you. That's everything. Unfortunately, there isn't any research as to which one of these is better. Like I said, this one is a lower potency, the MAP, than the other two. But obviously ascorbic acid is the best, but outside of that there are differing opinions all over the place and no conclusive research. So I think it's best to have a look and hopefully get some information from this and decide which one you think will fit into your regime best, depending on whether you want to use it morning or night, depending whether you care about the pilling, depending if you want to use an oil. You know, I know that Nisha got the vitamin F one and didn't like the fact that it was an oil because she wants to use it in the morning, so it might work out that way for you. So what am I proud of? I said in my last video I'd make it a bit less deep and meaningful. This time I am proud to be trying to not wear as much eyeliner right underneath my eyes. It's something that a lot of viewers would comment on. As you guys know, I've even done a whole video on it. And I'm not somebody to do something if it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I'm proud of myself for being open-minded enough to think, well, you know what, let me just try it for a while, see if I can get used to it, see if I can find a way that I like it. And what I've discovered is I actually prefer a soft eyeshadow under my eye, but I still do like the black waterline liner for a real sharp, intense look. So I will do that sometimes, but I've stopped really putting that black line underneath my eyes. So yeah, I'm proud of myself, like I said, for being open-minded enough to try it and step outside of my comfort zone. Makeup wise, I have got on the Diorskin Forever Foundation in 011. I've got on the Lorac Unzipped palette on my eyes, and on my cheeks I've got an Inglot blush. It's a number, I can't remember the number, but I'll put it in the description. I've got the Stila liquid lipstick in Caramello, and I think that's everything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.